Greetings. This is Adam Rafferty, and in this lesson, I'm going to show you how to play my fingerstyle arrangement of John Lennon's Imagine. This is one of my favorite ballads to perform. Okay, so the way that I play it and the key that I play it in the key of E, but I do something kind of unexpected. The original is in the key of C. I found that to be a little bit low and muddy on the guitar. So what I do is I have the guitar tuned in drop D. Okay. Lowest string is tuned down to D, but then I put a capo on the second fret. Okay. And you might want to do some fine tuning on once you put the capo on. I'm going to be playing with. Now I usually can never get it quite as perfect as I'd like, but a main melody note is going to be this note that would be an A. Let's call this the second fret. Okay. And it's got to jive with the low string and the other notes here. And very often I'll use some vibrato. Okay. But I find, as you can see, I'm starting to do a little fine tune. So you'll want to do, once the capo is on, some slight adjustments to the tuning just to make sure that that rings. Don't trust that the minute you put the capo on, everything's going to be fine and dandy. Very often a capo will bend, it'll push harder maybe on a bass string and make make your bass string sharp, too high. Okay, so let's get started and enjoy the journey of learning Imagine. All right, everybody, let's start working on the intro for Imagine. As I've said in the first video, I'm in dropped D tuning, and I've got a capo here at the second fret. So for the purposes of learning, we're going to call all of that, even though it's at the second fret, we're going to call that open. And so, for example, that's going to be, I'm going to refer to this in the lesson as the second fret. Okay, so let's start working on the famous piano intro for Imagine. As you know, for most of my arrangements, there's a melody part, a bass part, and then a middle part that is accompaniment or harmony. So I'm going to show you how I build up the middle part. Okay, let's start with that. First, let's play two notes. We're going to just build up the harmony. I'm playing the first finger on the second fret, third string, third finger there. And just play me those two notes 4 times. That's going to be part of our 1 chord. And then the second and third string. Okay. And then back. Simple enough. And one thing that I really like to do in Imagine is put my A finger, the ring finger, on the high E string as a mute and as a sort of security. Because there's a lot of melody notes on the B string, and that helps me make sure that even if my finger accidentally touches the first string, we're not going to hear anything. Okay? So now let's add another note to this. These two notes. We're going to make it into a triad. Okay. The actual pitches are E, G sharp, B, since we're playing in the key of E. And then we're going to switch to the second, third, and fourth string. And notice this thumb is playing the same note that it played here, but the open string frees us up. Same note though. This is just like in the triad work here on the website. Okay. Now, let's break this up rhythmically with the right hand. Same chords. And what I'm going to ask you to do is we're going to play index and middle on the beat and thumb off the beat. So it's going to be like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And then we're going to do the same on the open strings. Ready? 1, 2, 3, and. And back. So that's the idea of this middle part when I talk about a top, middle, and bottom. Now for the bottom, what I'm going to do is just play the lowest string. It's tuned down to D, but of course we're capoed, so I don't know what we're going to call that. The reality is the note is E. And you have two ways you can do this. If you'd like, you can play the whole, the I and M with the low string, or you can just play that single string. Sometimes I do that because it's easier for the right hand. So now check this out. So we're just going to play this on the first beat and let that ring through and continue with the alternation. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Again, low. Okay. Now I'm going to show you something different with the right hand. If you like, you can do it like this. Watch. Where your thumb is alternating between these two. That's okay, or that's okay. See what I'm doing? Whatever's comfortable. Usually here I do these. Now next I'm going to show you how to do this very the well-known little lick from Imagine. I play it with a left-hand fingering that may at first seem a little difficult, but it lets certain notes ring over in a way that's very appealing to me. So let me show you what I do, and then I'll show you a possible easier alternative. Second and third finger on what would be the notes of the open strings, fourth and fifth fret above the capo, and then I hammer on the pinky, and then I go back here. I bar the second and third string and I play it with the fourth string open. Now that might sound weird out of context, but when you hear the bass line in the flow, those are the bass notes that go with it. I'm going to play it like that a few times just so you can hear it go by, okay? Ready? And. See that? And when I come out of it, I usually do the variation where I'm only playing a single note over here because it's a little tricky to get to the triad, although I probably could if I wanted. Okay? Now the notes, if we were to look at the notes in a simpler way, we would have open, some kind of hammer onto the first fret, and then that. I haven't worked out a fingering for that because I don't play it like that, but I think that would be a good way to do it. You can hammer on the second finger, and then your first finger is relaxed and you can grab a bar with it easily. So it's a little counterintuitive. Let me try that again. I try to hold on to this note when I go back into that. So this is the alternate fingering. It's a weird fingering, I know. Doing the second finger here and then the first one there. But sort of like doing a funny dance step. So I do it like this. Okay. Alrighty, and as I said, the whole time with that third finger hanging on to the high E string. Okay, so let's move ahead and let's start with the verse. Okay, so let's start the verse to Imagine. Basically, I go by ear, and there are 4 slightly different phrases, which I kind of base off my memory of the lyrics of the first verse. And it's very much like this intro figure that I've shown you, with a couple variations. So now, let's start with the first one. You're going to be using the index finger, or the middle finger. I use the index to go, and then, at least you're going to be starting with the index finger. The beauty of this is if you keep the thumb doing a steady thing, I often think of a little piece by Mozart, for example, where your left hand on a piano would be doing a steady thing. The 2 parts kind of intertwine in the way that your ear knows from the original recording. Okay, so let's do the first one. Let's play this chord. Watch. Imagine there's, right? Okay. So one more time. Imagine there's no. Let's go that far. Okay. Now, here's where something very nice comes in. It's a little bit tricky. We're going to switch from this D, or this fretted note, to this open string, and we're going to hammer on the first finger, 2nd fret. So okay, so then let me show you where it's going to go after that. You're going to hammer that on. Pinky plays the 5th fret, and then your thumb is going to go up to the D string, and you're going to pull off at the same time. If you were to just listen to what the thumb is doing throughout, you're going. Sorry. So you, as I said, like a little Mozart piece, you're keeping this nice steady thing in the bass. It's hard to see it when you're putting the parts together. And then, okay. If you can get this, now this part, this first little part is the basic coordination of the song, of the verse. So it's a little bit tricky. Let me do it slow for you again. And let's grab that chord and go nice and slow. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, one more time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, imagine there's no heaven. Imagine there's no heaven. Okay, second phrase. It's easy if you try. It's going to be a little bit different phrasing, but the same idea. It's easy. Let me show you how I do that. Okay, so you're playing the A string and the B string together, and here you play a thumb alone on that fretted note, and you do the pull-off. Let's do the first and second phrase together 4 times slowly. 1, 2, 3, and. Okay, let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, and. This is some new coordination with keeping a thumb going and having to do little hammer-ons and pull-offs in an unexpected way. So if you're feeling like this is difficult, it is a little bit tricky, but hang with it, and once you get it in your hands, your hands will be able to do it, okay? Let's do it 2 more times. First and second phrase. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. One more time. First phrase. Second phrase. Okay, excellent. Let's go to the next video where I show you how to play 2 more phrases just like this. They're very similar, the third and the fourth phrase. All right. Okay, so let's look at the third and fourth phrase, which sounds similar to the first and second phrase. Let's just recap. It sounds like this. First phrase. It's easy. Okay, then phrase 3, no something below us. I forget what the lyric is. It's almost exactly like the first phrase. One more time. Third phrase. Okay. And then phrase 4. I don't know what the lyrics are exactly, but above us only sky. So the reason I'm playing, I think it's above us only sky. That's why I'm doing a little more action with the first finger. Above us only sky. Okay, now watch this. 1, 3, and then bring up your third finger. Let's do that fourth phrase again with that bass note transition. Okay, one more time. Fourth phrase, above us only sky, and then transition into that. Ready? And. Okay, that covers the first 4 phrases of the verse where we're basically going from changing from this chord to that chord, a 1 chord to a 4 chord. Okay, let's go on to the next video to learn the next little section that this bass line leads up into. All right. Okay, so we're now at this phrase that I think of as a link between the 2 sections. And this is a pretty cool musical phrase. Now, one of the things, as I said before, that is a little bit tricky is that we're going to keep the thumb pattern going as best as we can, like it's a little Mozart piano piece, and have the melody float on the top, okay? Now, I just want you to listen. This isn't something yet to play. Let's listen to the thumb. Going to go into an A7 chord. So it's like, if you think of this like a G chord, which it would be because it's drop D, the bass is walking down. So I try to keep that structure, the 1, ding, 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 the low to high. I try to keep that structure going with my thumb. Now let me show you how we're going to incorporate melody notes with that, okay? Let's get that first. Third finger, then the 4th and 2nd string. 3rd and 2nd string, but now we fret the first finger over here. Sorry, my 2nd finger's in the way a little. Okay. Next, we're going to go to open 4th string. Going to finger those. We're actually not going to play this note, but it's nice to fret a note in case we're a little bit inaccurate with the right hand. If we hit that string, it'll sound good with the chord. So watch what I do. Now watch what I did here. I simply hammered on the second and third finger, and I'm getting my thumb ready. I think I play with the thumb over here. Okay, let me walk you through this slowly. Did you notice how on this I went plucking the first and third string and then the fourth and first string? So the bass is going. And then we're ready over here because we're going to need that note. Now, I bet there's a way you could do this with a fretted note if you didn't want to do the thumb like me. I haven't thought about that yet. You could probably just bring a second finger. Sorry, don't mean to give all my students the finger right now, the second finger. You probably could do that if you had to. I do it with my thumb over the top of the neck. Okay, let me show you. Let me continue by showing you what I do. Now watch this. Okay, this is a little bit tricky. Thumb, then I'm playing those two notes. Middle, index, that's the third finger over here. And then when I pull off, I try to play a G. This is again one of Adam's difficult and crazy moves. Sorry. I'm pulling off and playing that note at the same time. So I'm getting those notes to hook up at that with that bass line. Ba, da, da. And I've had to practice that a lot. Okay, let's do this. Let me play this all for you slowly now. And then just let go of the thumb. See that? One more time. And again, I know it's complicated, but we're keeping this nice little Mozart pattern in the thumb. Okay, one more time slowly. Ready? And. And then the next part is pretty easy. I suggest somehow muting this lowest string because we're going to be going to an A. I'm going to be hammering on there. So I usually just let the little bit of the flesh of my thumb touch the low string to damp it. And I go. Let me show you what that is. So the second and third finger looks like an A7 chord. Then the first and second finger. Hammer on the third and fourth finger. Then, so I slid that and I added this note. Now watch. This is tricky here. And you're going to land on the second finger over here. Because we're going to need to go back into the next verse, and you're going to need the first, third, and fourth finger free, so you got to land there. And I usually leave a little space in the rhythm so that we can hear that note ring. I don't come in right away with on the downbeat. So I'll play it a few times, and when you hear it, it'll become clear. To the second time that we play the verse for 4 phrases. I'm going to play this transitional thing for you one more time, nice and slow. Okay? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Into the second verse. Okay, let's go to the next video. Okay, so up to this point, I've showed you the intro, which is the simpler thing with the chords, right? And then we did 4 verse phrases. I'm going to call this the top of the tune, where we go. There were 4 phrases of that. And then we did our little transition with right? And then when you did this, came to the second finger here because we were going to resume with another verse of 4 phrases, and then it's going to do this thing again. So we're going to repeat everything except the intro that we've done so far. Except on this second repeat, I know it sounds like a lot to remember, but if you match it up to the performance, you'll see what I'm doing. So when we go, now this is the second time we're coming. Instead of landing on the second finger, you're going to land on the first finger. Okay, first finger. And then we're going to be on to the next section of the tune, which we have not yet covered. Okay. You can say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. It's going to be third finger here. Open. Hammer. Then hammer on to an A7 chord. See? Now watch. Now, let me show you how I do that. You're doing a pull off 3, 2, 0, and when you pull off and get to the O, you're going to play the third string open. And then back to the second and fourth string. Now watch this. Second finger comes up, first and third. This is. Let's do that slowly 2 times together. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Again, and. Let's do it 2 more times. Ready? And. One more time. Now, watch where this is going to go. There's a really cool transition, but this is a little tricky. You're going to slide the first finger up. So now you got both first and second finger in the 3rd fret. Leave everything else where it is, and thumb over the top. So. Now that is a scrunchy, kind of tricky move, but that's how I do it. And I think you'll get a better result if you lift the finger and then put it back down rather than slide. That was sliding, but sometimes I get some sounds I don't want. So let me show you. It looks like a scrunch. What am I playing here? I'm playing this. If that is really too impossible for you, I mean, you could maybe play and let go of the melody note. But that's how I play it. Okay, now the cool thing here is once you get that little piece down, there's 4 of those phrases. And they all differ slightly, kind of like the first 4 phrases differed slightly. This is, but I'm not the only one. Now check this out. The melody is now here on the 4th string, and so what we're going to do for the accompaniment is we're going to try to do, and then move that up. So sometimes I'll try this with just my top 3 fingers so that I don't accidentally with my thumb stop that melody note from ringing. That can still ring rather easily. Okay, if that gives you any kind of trouble, and I can imagine that some of you are going to have some trouble with that, please simplify. Experiment. Okay, but that's a really nice transition. Okay, 3rd phrase. Now watch. Okay, watch. One more time. Okay, 4th phrase. Now, this is totally different. And the world will be as one. Now watch this. I'm playing the 5th string, 3rd string, 1st string, then 2nd finger, and then 2nd finger again here. And I'm trying to make sure both of those ring, and now watch this. All 2nd finger. Now, this, if you can hold this note while you do the next thing, you'll get a really slick effect. Watch this. We're gonna go. But that is really tricky. And if you could see the angle, I almost need to straighten the first section of my 2nd finger out. I'm going to turn. I know the right hand is going to look strange right now, but I'm turning so you can see it with the left hand. That's hard to see. That might take you some practice. Okay. Here's what I'm going to do to close this section out. I'm going to play this these new 4 phrases for you so that you can hear them all together. Okay? You can say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. Da-da-da-da-da, join us and the world will be as one. Okay, here we go. Count you in. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and show you that I go boom. Then the last phrase. And then we're going to the 3rd verse. Okay? So this is a lot of strange little pull-offs. But you'll see it's simply this dong, dong, ding, 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 ding in the thumb, and you'll have to master a few little tricky moves, but once you practice it, you'll get the feel in your hand. Okay, let's go on to the next video. Okay, well, we're almost at the end of Imagine. We've covered all of the different material, and we're now at the 3rd time that this verse comes around. And honestly, it's almost no new material except for the last little cascade at the ending. You're going to play 4 of these phrases. Play those 4, and then you're going to play the transition thing. I'm playing it a little fast. And then you're going to go to the next 4 phrases. Okay. I'm just kind of going fast. 3rd time. We've done all this. Now watch. Here is the last and final thing that's brand new. Now we've done that, and here's the cascade that I do at the end. This is a little bit tricky. Watch. We're gonna be grabbing this chord, but I do a downward cascading arpeggio. I go. then 2 open strings, then fretted and open A, and then so I have my AMI up on the top, and I strum everything going up, and then I drag the A finger back. Okay? Open, 3-0. Let's do that in context now. Whoops. The string should have been ringing. One more time. One more time. Okay? That's most of the material. Let's go to a center camera shot. I'm going to talk the form of the tune down to you one more time, just so that you're clear on the structure. Okay, so at this point, I've shown you how to play all the different material in the song. And what I'm going to try to do here in this segment is talk down the form of the song. And so I'm going to play and talk at the same time a little bit. We start with the intro. This happens twice. So first time, second time. Okay. Now, let's just try to visualize, if you could see on music paper, just the chord changes. It's going to be 4 times the one chord. There's 4 of those phrases, okay? And then it's going to do this transition with the walk down bass line. First yoo-hoo. Okay, and that leaves us at what I call verse 2. Verse 2, there's going to be 4 of these phrases. All right. 4 of those. Again, we have the transition with the walk down. But at this point, we get a new section that we haven't heard yet, starting on this chord. Now, I call this a 4 chord, so we're going to have 4 of these phrases. Right? 4 of those. And it ends with the... And that's the lead into the 3rd verse. Now, 3rd verse is exactly like the 2nd verse. I hope you're following. 4 of these. Then the transition. Right? And then 4 of these phrases. Starting on the 4 chord. Now, the only difference between the 3rd time that we do this and the 2nd time is the end, where I do this cascade. and I try to hold that melody note. Okay. If you're a little unsure, listen to the original. Now, of course, I play it in a different key, but listen to the original John Lennon song and you'll get an idea for the correct structure, okay? Because that's where I got it from. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope that you enjoy playing this one. And if you master this one, I guarantee that you will have a very touching, poignant number for your audiences, and you'll be a hit on your gigs, open mics, whatever performance you've got. You will be a hit with this one if you can play it with a nice tone and a singing melody. God bless.